The top Google result says the panic cannot ever be cured, which is total horseshit. Don't believe that for 1 second. Just want to do a video of a word of encouragement for people who are dealing with a panic disorder. You know, I know how hard it is. I've been there. I think I suffered with it for about 3 years. You know, I don't remember. I wish I actually remember the details like, you know, like a book. But I don't. You know, it's been over 10 years now since I've dealt with it. But I know that I was in the shit with it for at least 3 years. I think it started sometime in 2008, 2009, and ended somewhere around 2011, 2012. Like when I say ended, I mean that's when I realized how to solve it, and where it was a snowball effect. You know, once you realize how to attack it, it's the solution snowballs, and it doesn't have the same impact on you, and eventually you get rid of it. But you know, I wanted to give you not only I wanted to tell you that, listen, I'm a guy who has had it. I suffered with it for like 3 years. You know, I've gone the medication route, and they did work for me. But then eventually, you know, when you stop the medication, they come back. So I wanted to offer some words of hope, you know. I want to remind you that, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy. It wasn't easy for me. I remember the misery, man. It was depressing. Like, I would ask myself, like, is this what my life is gonna be like? Am I ever gonna be like, I mean, how am I even gonna date? You know, as a guy with a panic disorder, what woman's gonna want this, you know? I remember asking myself these questions, like I would get down on myself, like, no woman's gonna want this, no? Because I felt like a pussy. I felt like a pussy, you know? But that's just how how I took it. You know, I know that other people take it differently. For example, I've worked with mothers, and I remember I feel for mothers, man. But I remember I worked with some mothers, and for them, it's kind of similar. They're asking themselves, let me not go that way because that's loud. They're asking themselves, how am I going to be a mother? How can I be a good mother when I can barely function? You know? And you might be asking yourself something completely different, you know. It's just the way you get down on yourself when you got a panic disorder is unique to you. But I think we all get down on ourselves. We question, you know, can we make it? Can we be whatever? Insert whatever, right? So if you're a lawyer, how can I be a lawyer, right? How can I stand in trial? How can I do that? You know, the effect that panic has on you is powerful. It's just no question about that. It will ruin your day. Might even define your day. It's known through research. We know it is the most destructive disorder there is. I mean, it makes people unemployed. It costs money because people are desperate for solutions. They'll spend money out their butts on all kinds of magic, right, which doesn't exist. People will visit ER if they have private insurance that has deductibles. That's going to run up the deductible, going to cost a shit ton of money. If they're lucky, in a sense, being on Medicaid in this case is lucky because you don't have to pay a dime when you go to the ER, you know. And not only that, you know, it leads to secondary depression. You know, so like you deal with it long enough, you start becoming hopeless about ever feeling normal again. And the experience of being stuck in this feeling is so painful, so uncomfortable that it's hard to imagine how you're going to function for the rest of your life. You know, so depression is a very, very close second. It follows panic disorder real closely. So it's a rough experience, you know. The best thing I can say, you know, well, first of all, you know, watch my other videos because I try my best to explain what it takes to get rid of panic attacks. And I mean get rid of, like, I think the people who say to themselves, this can't be cured, and there's a lot of people who say this. As a matter of fact, experts, professionals say this. It's the most destructive fucking thing that professionals, therapists can do. To say that panic cannot be cured. Because you know what you were doing? You know what? Sorry, I don't mean you. I mean you as in like the professionals who claim that panic can't be cured. The top Google result says the panic cannot ever be cured, which is total horseshit. Don't believe that for 1 second. Because what we know from studies is that what you believe will happen with whatever you're going through is probably what's going to happen. Your expectations dictate the outcomes. Your expectations dictate the outcomes. And thank you, God, for giving me a father who told me that anything is possible. He always said the same thing. Anything is possible. I remember I asked him, I was trying to be a smart ass. I asked him, Dad, well, what if I want to fly like Superman? And he said, okay, well, that we can't do right now, but you can get on an airplane and fly. And that was disappointing, right? It was disappointing for me to hear that. But at the same time, it opened up my eyes. A lot of times the solution does not look the way we think it's going to look. So perhaps you're thinking that the solution is going to be you'll take a pill and it'll be gone. When in fact the solution might be a lot more subtle. It might be a very slow grind to the finish, where it would take a lot of work initially for no results, but then eventually is when you'll suddenly be aware that, oh shit, things are getting better. Just an example, right? What I'm trying to get at is that, I'm saying this, I'm sharing this with you because this was probably one of the most impactful things my father has ever said to me. And if you never had someone who has said the same thing to you, I'm saying this to you right now. I'm saying this to you right now, and I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Anything is possible. Especially when it comes to matters of the mind. Think about this. There's people who believe all kinds of stuff that you don't believe in. How come they believe this stuff that you don't believe in? And how come you believe stuff that other people don't believe in? That suggests that there's a way to get to believe the things that you don't believe. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Is that... let me try again. If there are people out there who believe all kinds of different things that you don't believe in, and perhaps you believe things that other people don't believe in, then that suggests that there is a way to teach, to convince people of different things, right? People disagree about it, all kinds of different things, right? So if if there is that kind of flexibility in changing beliefs, right? One person believes that something's dangerous, the other person doesn't, right? Have you ever seen that? That one person gets anxious about something, but the other person is totally fine about it, right? Why is that? Why is that? If it was impossible to cure panic attacks, if it was impossible to cure panic disorder, then these differences wouldn't exist. Then everybody would be afraid of the same thing. But that's not the case, right? So you gotta believe, you gotta understand that panic disorder exists for you because of certain beliefs you have in your mind. Your panic is coming from within you. It's not coming from outside. It's coming from within your mind. If people are vulnerable to be able to if you can convert people into cults, right? Take a person who's not in a cult and you can convince them that Zulu, whatever, warrior god will come down from earth and upload you if you drink this poisonous punch, then you can change your damn mind about whatever it is that's setting off your panic attacks. It's possible. It's just that it's very difficult. Okay, I know it's very difficult. So I don't want you to lose hope. I know how hard it is to keep hope when you're dealing with panic disorder. It makes us feel hopeless. Oh, it's kind of nice in the shade here. I think I'm going to hang out here. Let's look at the background. Nice. Damn, my face is all red. Not all red. I got like these red blotches. So I'm going to hang out in the shade for a bit. It's kind of nice and cool in here. Yeah, so I know that there's the possibility that you're gonna have a panic attack today. Maybe you're having one right now. Maybe you were just coming out of a panic attack. I'll give you a little bit more of a view. probably the most helpful thing that I can share with you about how to cope with that inevitability, that there's gonna be another panic attack, that you're gonna have to deal with one, right? That a lot of us are afraid. I think most of us are. That's what's driving our panic attacks. That shit, I'm gonna have to deal with another panic attack. The most helpful attitude that I've ever taken about that is to remind myself, sorry about the wobble, is to remind myself that each time I have a panic attack is an opportunity to learn to deal with it. While it's an unwelcome guest, it's not somebody that I want to exactly invite and entertain. He's coming regardless. He's like the I don't know, prison guard or Nazi officer. He's coming whether you like it or not, right? All I can do is learn to deal with him. All I can do is learn how to win the fight, right? He's coming to bully me, right? He's coming to bully me no matter what. And what I want you to do is take that attitude, but combine it with the desire to give in to the panic. So if you haven't seen my videos on surrender, check them out. There's also that 30-minute video I made on exposure, interoceptive exposure. It's like a whole walkthrough. There, at the very end of it, and I don't want you to skip the whole video. I want you to actually go through the exposure protocol. But at the very end, I do a little surprise, and it's actually a exercise in surrender. That part is very, very important because there's a chance that it will click with you. There's a chance that you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say give in to the panic, when I say surrender to the panic, when I say let it wash over you. That little exercise will give you a taste of that. That's why I want you to check that out. Okay? And so that's whenever you are worried that a panic is coming, that's the reframe I recommend to you. Say to yourself, okay, that's an opportunity for me to practice surrendering. If it's coming, when it comes, I'm gonna try to surrender to it. Now, if you truly are right now, if you get pumped up enough, if you truly get yourself pumped up enough to be ready for a panic, like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. You know what? I want to try, because you know what? I understand that if I don't face the panic and practice getting over the panic, I will never get over the panic, right? Like, if you've ever competed in anything, if you ever competed in sports, you know that the only way to get better is to get your ass whooped, right? So if you can take that understanding and apply it to that and say, okay, panic is coming no matter what, at least I get to practice, right? The bitch of it is that it comes when you least expect it, but at least you get to practice. When you have that firmly in your mind and you have that mindset, like, okay, I'm gonna practice, and you're almost kind of like, I want to say like almost excited to practice, what you're gonna probably notice is that panic is far away. You're not even feeling an inkling of it coming, because that's how it works. That's how it works. It works on your fear, right? When you're ready to face your panic, if you ever have a moment where you experience that, and I hope you do, I really hope you have a moment where you experience a sense of readiness. Like, you know what, fuck it, it's awful and miserable, but I'm ready for it. I want to face it. I want to practice. I need to practice because I want this to be over. I want this to be done with. And the only way I'm going to do that is by practicing, right? When you have that kind of like this aggressive attitude, you'll experience that it suddenly distances itself. Because panic is an asshole, is what it is. But eventually it will come, right? Eventually you'll drop your guard. You'll forget about that fired up attitude, and then it's gonna creep back in. But then what you gotta do is remember the attitude once again. Try to remember the attitude. Try to bring it back up. Now, I'm talking. I hope I'm not coming across as like, oh, this is easy. It's not. This shit's not easy, man. It took me 3 years of familiarizing myself with my panic disorder, trying to understand it from every angle. Now, I didn't have the benefit of somebody guiding me. So my hope, and I mean, that's what I see in therapy. Thank God. It works. In therapy, when I guide people, it works. Some people get over it, not get over it, but they get a lot better in as little as 3 months, right? That's fucking amazing, you know? If you've been dealing with this for a while, 3 months is amazing. Some people it takes longer, right? Some people, depends on personal circumstances and things like that. But where was I going with this? But yeah, so I hope that you can find a way to experience this, because it's, you know, not only will it give you a momentary relief, but it's going to be a very important step in overcoming them. All right. So, you know, I feel like I've rambled enough. My battery, I can see, is dying. So I will see you next time. Bye.